Dude, what's up, everyone? Wi-Fi is back strong to quite strong. I'll let you all be the judge of that. So take two here. I'm going to go straight into it because I know we wasted a lot of time before. So what we did, and if you're watching this in review, don't worry, we deleted the old ones. So you're in luck. You just get 30 minutes of straight fire here. And I'm just going to tell the team, decided to go live. They're like, Jake, why would you do that? You just saw it happen. But hey, fuck it. Let's just see what happens. So what we did, my friends, is we analyzed data from 1,400 posts across 70 people, about 60, 70 people. I'll go look at the end of like what that actually ended up being. And so what I want to do is share some of the insights that we have from this. Do me a favor, drop in the comments if you're starting to join. Drop me your questions. We had 64 questions. I love all of you. Thank you so much. Just drop them again. I've only got 30 minutes before I've got a big pitch. I'm out here fucking hustling like you all are well too. All are as well, trying to make shit happen. So lots of love. So first thing I'm going to talk to you about is the difference between text-only posts and other types of posts. Okay, this is a question I get all the time. Jake, what posts outperform what? And then like what works and what doesn't work. So again, let me just see here. I'm pulling up LinkedIn over here. Appreciate all of you. I really do. I really appreciate all of you like riding with this, you know, and making it happen. So I've got lots of love for you. So text versus everything else. What is your guess? What do you think overperformed? Drop your guess below. All right, so what performs best? Text or other formats? All right, drop your guesses below. I'm going to go on to the next data set. So we looked at that. And basically, here's what we did. We said, what was the likelihood that a post would get over 50 interactions, over 100, over 150, over 200? Okay. So this is very interesting. Oh, Joseph Cosper. What's going on, Joseph? I hope you're doing great, man. Joseph, very insightful. Very insightful. So I'm going to try to wild card this. I mean, God forbid I'll just fuck it up again. So it'll be fine. Let's try this share screen here. Share screen 2. All right. So let me know how many of you can see my screen right now. I'm going to make it bigger. Don't fret. Okay, let me know. Can you see my screen here? I'm going to zoom this up for y'all as well. Oh, God, too big. Okay, then I just did something stupid. There we go. All right. So it's actually 1,600 posts. I've been shortchanging myself here. All right, so here you go, my friends. So this is percent of posts with over 200, percent of posts with over 150 interactions. Okay, so if you want to see here, what you can see right here, we can see it. Good. Kellen, Larissa, Haynes, Donato, Milano. I appreciate all of you. So you can see here, text is our winner, right? And it's pretty interesting. There's some outliers in here. So what I didn't do yet, and again, guys, you're getting like the sneak. You're getting that like that behind the scenes, because we haven't even normalized the data set. So this is kind of raw. Okay. So what I want you to think about is, so text percentage-wise has the highest percent. Embedded video, second highest. Image, third. You can see here it's the same for going over 150. Now, I'm guessing here, just FYI, so there's a document here that went over. This could have been like a sample size of like 1 or 2. So again, I haven't normalized this data yet, so just bear with me. So you can see this is going over 100 or going over 50. So again, going over 50, it's like, oh, our friend image creeps up here. So it's like, you can kind of see this. It's like LinkedIn shows an image maybe to like a small group of people, then a little bit more possible, be easier to see. Okay, I'll try to zoom in just a little bit more. Let me know if you guys need me to zoom more. Again, I've only got 30 minutes, so lots of love, but I hope this helps. So this is actually pretty interesting though. Look, videos still can perform really well, but they outperform images. They outperform obviously updates and other stuff, right? So there's your first learning, right? Text, video, image, if you want your posts to get a lot more interaction. Now, next question. I want to see your what do you call it? Your thoughts here. What day of the week? What day of the week do you think gets the highest likelihood to go over 200 and maybe even over 150 interactions. Interactions, by the way, just so all of you know, is a combination of likes and all those other emojis, comments, and reshares. So interactions is how we're defining that. Likes, comments, reshares. So what day of the week do you think is most likely for closed caption? No, Joseph, you can't measure closed caption. LinkedIn's not that smart. So you cannot measure closed captions for videos. This is just embedded videos versus external links. Kellen says Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. Hopefully some of you read my post. I think I gave this answer. Todd with a Monday in here. All right. Locking in our bets here. So the answer, I'll zoom in, is Wednesday. All right. And so you can see here, these are big ins that we're talking about here, guys. So this isn't small data sets. You know, we've got 274 posts, 310, 294, 344, 307. 1 is Sunday, 7 is Saturday. So again, check it out. If you you go back and look, you know, pretty much starting over, you know, 150 posts, Wednesday starts to emerge as your kind of clear winner. You know, not by big percentage points, right? You can see here, you know, it's not, you know, it's almost a full percent bigger, right? And then when you look at over 150 interactions, it's almost 2%. But, you know, it does. I mean, it basically holds true that Friday, believe it or not, and I know a lot of people are like, what? It looks like, you know, from this Friday and Wednesday, but Friday is pretty much equal to Tuesday is equal to Monday. You can see here, guys, Monday, Tuesday, Friday are between 4 and 4.2%. So they're all kind of like the same. But Wednesday does seem to stand out from the crowd, right? Again, we haven't normalized this to like remove like a couple of big outliers to see, but there's enough data if you all are looking at here at our sample size that, you know, I feel pretty comfortable saying that, you know, Wednesday is our winner. You can see here, I think this is pretty interesting. A lot of you might find this valuable. This is basically to get to 50. When it comes to getting to 50, you know, the difference between Monday and what do you call it? Monday and Friday is pretty small. It's 24% to 21%. So it's kind of like early on, it doesn't really matter. But then like if it, you know, it's like early on for whatever reason, the posts are kind of like, like it doesn't really matter. And then over time it gets to where it's like, oh, this really matters, right? This one's an interesting one, okay? Week of the month. Okay, weeks 1 through 4 of the month. Is there a week of the month that outperforms the next, right? Is there a week of the month that you think outperforms the others? So again, you're pretty safe posting at all during the weekend. So, but just know that it's just less likely, right? Wednesday is just slightly better. It's not, you know, I didn't have to do like a statistical significance to make sure it is, but this is just the raw data. I thought it would be fun to get it out there for everyone. So again, is there a week of the month, weeks 1 through 4? I'm not going to show you the hours data. We're cleaning this up still. The hours data is crazy, as you can imagine. Week 7. There's not usually 7 weeks in a month, but I appreciate you putting that out there. All right. You can also start to drop in. You can also start to drop in your guests on emojis and hashtags. How do emojis and hashtags help your post or not help your post? Joseph, any idea of how much is too much posting? Once a day, more than once a day? I post quite a bit. Is there too much? We have seen that if you try to post within 3 hours, you just get completely dinged. If you try to post within like a 3-hour window, but we post twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, and haven't seen that affect it. Julie Mai says week 2 is our winner. Apparently people aren't as confident on what week of the month is most popular, but there is a winner. And I think it could be some interesting stuff for y'all. Zoom in for you here. Zoom in a little more, zoom in a little more. There we go. So week 4, right? Week 4 is our winner. If you look at week 1, look at consistently. Early on, it doesn't really matter, right? So I think this is kind of, this is like what, I think this should be like a big takeaway for a lot of you. It's that like early on, if your post is going to get 50 or under likes, you can post whatever you want whenever you want. And you guys have kind of seen this consistent data trend, right? That like early on, it's like week 2, week 4, week 1 are basically literally all the exact same. Then week 1 dramatically drops to the back. And then as you start to go up here, the data starts to get a little bit more, I guess, like somewhat predictable. Like these two are pretty much there. So you can see week 4, both for going over 150 and for going over 200, week 4, the last week of the month. We also captured week 5 or week 6 when there was like a random day here or there. I'll probably have them normalize this and just combine week 5 and week 4. But that should just tell you the interesting part. Like, let's say again, this like week 5, because sometimes there's like that weird like beginning and end of a week, right? Like, so you can see here though, it's basically end of the month, right? End of the month is the top performing, like posts are more likely to do best. So look, what does that mean? Do you save your best content for the last week of the month, right? I don't know, maybe, I guess you could, right? But I thought that this is a pretty interesting little data point for a lot of you to be able to look at. Again, the hours data, this is some of the most powerful data, is like when to post. I will tell you that there are some specific findings. We're still trying to normalize this into different groups. So emojis and hashtags. I want to hear in the comments now, before I show the data, what are your thoughts on emojis? Do emojis help? Do they hurt? How much? And what about hashtags, right? You hear LinkedIn even prompts you. LinkedIn even says, add a hashtag for more people to unleash across the network. So does adding emojis, yes or no? Drop it in the comments here, right? Or actually give me you can give me a thumbs up emoji if you believe that it does, right? And let me know what you think about emojis. Do emojis help? Do emojis not help? Do hashtags help? All right, we will go to the next one. While I wait your answers, helps. Relays emotion more directly than text. Grayson Fulbright says emojis are going to help reach. Emojis, no. Hashtag, yes. Yes, emojis. Yep. So I'm guessing they count for something. Yes, Todd, they do track emojis. That is correct. And not only do they track emojis, they track number of emojis. Now, what I can't track is what type of emojis. Now, that's what I would love to be able to do. I would love to be able to track what type of emojis somebody used to see if like that actually helps. Hashtags, yes, but less emojis, not too many, less than 5. Constantine, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you chiming in. Joseph, I will show you the data on is there more hashtag. So I'm going to show you some of that. The first thing I'm going to do, because I've talked about this, and again, I'll still keep taking your bets here, is I'm going to go with number of emojis, okay? And I'm going to go to number of emojis grouped, okay? So you can see here this data is jacked up because I haven't normalized it yet. So what normalizing data does is you can see here, one post that had 9 emojis did extremely well. And then not so much. So let's just see, what if we grouped emojis, 0 or 1? It has 1 emoji or it has none. Here you go. So pretty interesting stuff. Oh shit, oops, clicked the wrong button. I did not want to add a sheet there. Okay, so this is where things start to get interesting for all of you. So let's talk about first our friends emojis here. Okay, and so again, this is like grouped instead of just like one-off. So there's like one-off in our data that had 9 emojis that like really amplified some of the other data. So pretty interesting stuff. So 0. So here's with 0, right? You can see that pretty much after it gets to here, so after it gets past 50, the 0 actually is ahead. But what I want you guys to look at, the percentages aren't big. It's 9.2 and 10.9. Right over here, you've got, again, 0 or 3 plus. 3 plus is at 4. Less than 3, so between 1 and 3 is at 3.1. And then, yeah, when you get over here and you start to look at it, what the data says, and again, we haven't, you can see here what our ends look like, right? So what our number that we're counting. So there's 1,400 posts that had no emojis, 131 that had between, well, basically 1 and 3, so 1, 2, or 3, and then another 102 that had that. So what actually this says, and they're almost even, and so again, this hasn't been normalized. So I want all of you, again, And this is important because I also don't want to give out false information. I'm just telling you some leading data indicators, and there very well could be one post in here that's propping some of this up. But basically, it says if you're gonna use emojis, don't use just one or two. Use maybe three. So that's all I got to say. Or don't use emojis. It doesn't really help or hurt, right? If you look at over here, right, it's a higher likelihood it'll get over 150. If it's at 0, same thing at 100, but not by a lot. So again, and then over here you've got emojis kind of penalizing it, right? So you can see here, I think that this is actually the interesting, and this is exactly why you need to normalize data. I'm just gonna put this in perspective. Is you can see here the 3+ is actually lower. And what this tells me in this data set is there's maybe one, and then when I click back over to number of emojis total, there's this 9 one where someone put 9 emojis in that did really well. And so it kind of artificially inflates all that 3+ category, right? But again, you can see some of these other ones that had 4, 6 were also top performing. So we just need to look at, actually here I can just tell you. There were 4 posts that had 9, there were 18 posts that had 6, and 39 posts that had 4. Huh, all right, that's kind of interesting. So my bet on emojis is kind of like jury's out. Like, I don't really feel like there's anything from here that's statistically relevant. That it kind of tells me, like, if you're gonna use emojis, don't use one, use a few, right? Use but again, you can see here kind of the 0 creeps up, and then we've got some other data. So again, what we'll do when we normalize the data is we'll basically try to look for outliers, both low and high, to then, instead of having 1,600 data points, we'll probably try to tailor it down to 1,500 by removing some of the outliers from this data and then showing the data both ways. So emojis, look, to me, my initial gut here is none or go a little bit more in. So use 0 or use 3 or 4. Because you can see here when it's grouped, the data changes quite a bit. So there you go. All right, next up, hashtags. Let's see what we've got here about hashtags. Larissa says yes, hashtags. Grayson says meh. Yes, Larissa says emojis help. All right, so we've got a pretty mixed bag here on hashtags. Grayson, I agree 100%. Grayson put a great comment in here, everyone. Make sure to follow Grayson. Grayson's doing a great job. He's putting out some really good content, everyone. So make sure to give him a big follow. Differentiates brand communication style. So how consistently, I agree. I did a post with 37 emojis once. It did not, it did okay. Because I was just trying to see how much does LinkedIn like emojis or not. But I think at least from what I'm seeing now, I think, we're usually using between 0 and 3. So I think we'll kind of we'll stick with something, like that. So we'll go from there. All right, hashtags. Are you ready for the hashtag data? Here it is. So first, the raw data, number of hashtags, okay? So raw data, number of hashtags. Again, there's an outlier because, again, we haven't normalized the data yet. So there are some outliers early on, okay, that hashtags can help to amplify. But again, the size here, everyone, these data sizes are not statistically relevant. So what I mean by that is that there were 2 posts that had over 13 hashtags, right? And one of them did well. And so it kind of is that. No, the thing is, Todd, yeah, people follow hashtags, but you've got to literally go search for it. You don't ever see hashtag sales pull up. That's not it. I mean, honest, I'm going to show you this. The trends are there are tons of people who follow it. They don't. Todd, if you go to LinkedIn and you search hashtag other than a certain words, and you'll see that the people that are trending in those hashtags, the posts don't get that, they just don't get that much interaction. So again, let's just talk about the use of hashtags here, just because, again, I think it's an interesting one. Again, you can see there are these outliers. There's one post with 18 that did over 100. So you can see there that it's kind of artificially inflating some of these numbers. There were 2 posts with 13. So this is artificially, and then it goes down to 0, right? So you've got 1 post, 2 posts, 2 posts. How many had 11? 3 posts, and then it goes down to 0. And then in the end, guys, 0 wins. right? And if you just want to think about the difference between does it have one hashtag or zero, now get ready to get the mind blown. Here you go, my friends. This to me is one of your biggest takeaways. 0 or 1, no hashtag destroys, right? And there's, again, you're looking at 430 posts compared to 1,200, right? And I think there's a few reasons. One, the hashtag reach on LinkedIn is not that great. Okay, it's just not. Because yeah, you might follow hashtags, but do you actually go and ever type back in hashtag sales and go look at what's in there? That's not normal user behavior. LinkedIn doesn't have a hashtag follow culture. People use them, but then people use them to post promote, but rarely are people consuming on the hashtag. So I'm just telling you, I do see 3 separate posts with 3 relations occasionally on a hashtag drop in my feed. Yeah, potentially, Todd. I don't know. I'm just telling you the data, guys, says that putting hashtags versus 1 or more, 1 or any amount, is not going to help reach, right? So for us, I can just tell you what we've started doing is a lot less hashtags because people don't actually follow them. People follow them, sure, but they're not interacting. They're not like, oh, yeah, what's that hashtag sales thing up to? No. How many of you, prove me wrong here. How many of you on a weekly basis go to LinkedIn, type in a hashtag, and then consume content based on that versus your feed? I would love to know how many people actually go consume hashtag search whatever, and especially when you try to use vanity hashtags. Like you can just do it. Then yeah. Does it hurt? Yeah, it does hurt. I mean, so Todd's question, does it hurt? Yeah, it hurts. I mean, the data says that, again, these are the percent of posts that went over 200 interactions, that went over 150 interactions, that went over 100 interactions. 20% did not have a hashtag. 7% did. 3% didn't have had a hashtag. 13% didn't. 1.5% of the posts that went over 200 had a hashtag, right? 10.2% did not have a hashtag. Kara, very clever. Only for hashtag ask Jake anything. That's because poor Kara has to go and search that one. So I thought this one would be helpful for everyone. So my friends, are there posts with a lot of hashtags? So I'm going to go back to it. Are there posts with a lot of hashtags that have done well? Yes. Here you go. There were 12 posts we analyzed out of 1,600 where 8% of them, right? So again, it goes back to there was probably one that did really well. But then as you look at the long tail here, it goes 0, 9, 1, 2, 3, 5. But the difference between 0 and 1, just 1, is again a pretty massive delta. You know, again, if you group some of this data together, it might, again, it will still sum less than 10.2%. So again, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think we're definitely rethinking our ideas. Matthew, yes, it's going to be available. We're going to be putting together a whole ebook. You guys are just getting the sneak peek. My marketing department's not happy, but you guys are getting the sneak peek. Last thing I'm going to show you here, okay, is links. Okay, I think a lot of you already know this, but I'm just going to show it to you anyway. Okay, another thing, there are posts that get over 200 interactions, not out of the data that we analyzed, but when I talk to other people, because I got some people like, well, Jake, I had a post, and it's like, well, dude, you just won some like massive award, and that was that, or is like really controversial, and so it's like 3 out of 1,000 posts. So, is it possible to have a post, get over 200 interactions with a link? Sure, but I'm telling you, it's highly unlikely. Links kill your reach in the long game, right? So, and then let me tell you like my thought on why links do okay early on, because all the people that like and comment are employees. They're employees and your buddies that are commenting on your link. And then once LinkedIn starts to open it up, nobody interacts with it. And so my hot take here, and again, this isn't, this is my hot take, is that the link early on isn't as bad because all your close network still interacts with it. But then as time progresses, nobody does. So there you go. Can a link get over 200 interactions? Yes. A gentleman sent me 3 of his, and then I scrolled his feed, and literally one was from 6 months ago. So in 6 months, this guy has posted probably 400 times, and he had 3 that had a link that went over 200. So, my friends, I'm just telling you, links aren't your friend. Okay. So we've got more to come. This is just the sneak peek. Do me a favor, tag in your marketing team, tag in any of your buddies, anybody who's out there producing content, comment them in here so they can come and check this video out. I think this is one of the best data sets you're going to see. I'm the only one out here talking about data versus my opinion, right? And if you're interested in learning more about your own data, let us know. We have a third-party tool that we leverage, and I can hook you guys up with it. But again, the reason this stuff matters is if you are in marketing, if you are in sales, if you're trying to get your message in front of most people, you don't want to do dumb stuff that's going to hurt you. You also don't want to waste time on things that aren't going to help you. So like, let's talk about emojis and hashtags. Right now, LinkedIn kind of cares, right? Hashtags, the hashtag data for me is kind of at the point where I'm like, I'll put them in there, but they're more for vanity's sake. Like I'm doing it because I'm going to be fun or I'm going to do something. So again, I would highly suggest you all tag in some of your marketing folks here, tag in some of your, other folks in here. Again, I apologize earlier on. There we go. Hashtag Pega Marketing. Julie, they must be searching for that hashtag proactively. But Todd, I like Todd's comment about the hashtag. He said, "I've done it, but not regularly." And I've done it too. I've typed in hashtag sales, but that's just not how people consume data on LinkedIn right now. They just consume their feed. And so I think that hopefully there's some really awesome takeaways here. So no, you cannot. LinkedIn does not feed the data, Joseph, on tagging people, and then you definitely can't see the third party of who they tagged, because we're just basically pulling in what LinkedIn does. Okay, so Julie just dropped a quick one. Then I got to bounce everyone. Does this include link in the comments? So it doesn't. But our indicators are I can't track it. So here's what I can do. If any of you consistently do links in the comments, like let's say you do it 40 times over a quarter, DM me, because then I can one by one parse out your data and compare it to the link data, and I can answer that question for you. Actually, Kara, we should just do this for our own posts, is go back and pull the last 40 we did where we did a link in the comments, and let's look at that performance versus that. There's an inclination I have that LinkedIn now realizes that when someone says link in the comments and the person who posted it is the first person to drop a link, that LinkedIn now is not stupid and then still penalizes that post. That's what my gut tells me. And I've had a lot of friends give that anecdotal advice, that link in the comments actually doesn't help that much with reach. But then I've had other people say it does. So jury's out, Julie. You can't track just posts with link in comments without doing it manually. So we'll put that on the list of the to-dos. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. Make sure, tag your friends, tag your marketing team, tell them to come check this out. Make sure you're following our team at Scaled, so when the report drops, you all can get access. And hope you have an amazing Monday. Thank you so much for sticking it out. I know that we had some technical difficulties in version 1 there, which was not ideal. But so many of you made the choice to kind of stick it out, to come back, to join again. And I think we talked about some really cool stuff. So I hope this helps everyone. Have an amazing rest of your week. And we will catch up with you on Wednesday, where we've got another great session coming up with a few friends, Joe Mollings and Mr. Chris Walker. So if you are looking for kind of the future of scaling and what that's going to look like, then make sure to join us for that. So thanks again, everyone. Appreciate you. Kara, do you want to drop the link in the comments for the for the Sydney Sloan? What's up, Sydney? Appreciate you tuning in. Kara, I don't know if you're still here, but maybe drop the link for the Wednesday session in here. So it's all data. Sydney, as a sales loft person, I feel like I channeled some inner Jeremy Donovan there with listing out my N equals, whatever the sample size is, so people don't call me out and shit. So we are using StreamYard to answer your question there. So cool. All right. Appreciate everyone. Have a great Monday.